Get the attendance going. Good. Jacob?
Here.
Julia?
Here.
Chloe? John? Colin?
Here.
Jammer? Okay. Eleni? Jazia? Molly? Sarah? Trey? After Trey. Joe?
Here.
Chase?
Here.
Brighton?
Here.
Maxwell?
Here.
Jayla? Jack?
Here.
Annalise?
Here.
Harun?
Here.
We have Chloe, John, Jammer, Eleni, Jaziel, Sarah, Trey, Jayla. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. So let's move on, class. Lot to cover today. So I'm just going to dive right in. You will have to do a lot of reading up, writing today in class. We'll try to cover as much as possible. And so here I'm just going to do your syllabus. I just wanted to show you this is where we are. First of all, let me close this one. Anyways. All right. So we are almost at the end, as you can see, end of the class. And this is where we are today is the 12th. We are on schedule. We'll be talking about persuasion and debate today. There will be writing, also going through the concepts, understanding the concepts and writing in class. So today that's what we are going to do so that most of the work is done for you guys. And we will get again on Thursday to discuss as well. All right, to discuss again, go through this. So we cannot finish today, which I don't think we will cover the whole thing today. We at least will have the next class. So I would like to use April 14th as our workshop day. Okay, so we'll try to do as much writing that we can do today in class, and then on Thursday when you come, maybe just revise a few things that we've done in class, and then come with your drafts, and then we're going to have a workshop format that day on April 14th, which is Thursday, right? April 19th, we are not meeting. That's right. It is Honors Day, and there is no class on Honors Day. All right, I didn't know that. I thought it was just on, but I didn't know it's such a big day for North Central. They celebrate the speakers who come and award students. There is no class that day. So that's not, then we won't have to lose this day, and then we get into our next week. So these two classes are going to be, a lot of work for us, and hopefully we should be able to complete everything by this week. And then you get actually, it's good in a way because you get that week to prepare, calm down, prepare and everything. And then once we come to class, we have 3 speech days, which should be good because typically we finish it in 2 days, and 3 days is just some extra time. So we are in a good place. Okay. All right. Okay, so now going to persuasion and debate, we'll jump right into it. I think what we did last time, just to do a little bit of a recap, I did talk to you about, 1 second here, class. I'm just trying to pull that slide for all of you. Open. Yeah, argumentation and debate, refutation, all of this. I don't know whether, I don't think I've loaded it, but I'll load it right now. It's already here, but I have to load it on your Blackboard. Argumentation and debate. All right, here we go. So I did, if you remember, I did not get a chance to talk to you about any of this. So today I will. But in our last class, I did ask you about your area of interest, right? And you told me what the area of interest is, and the kind of debatable topic that you want to do. Have you all decided, zeroed in on a topic or on a particular area of interest? Okay. So, okay, all right. So this is what I want you all to do, and you can change it later on. But once you understand the process of how to do it, you can always change it. And when you go back home, you can change the topic again. The first thing is that research. Okay, how do we do research on a good topic? You please, if you what are some of the interest? What was in the areas of interest that you told me in our last class? Do you remember? Did we discuss that first of all? Areas of interest? No? Okay. All right. So if we did not, let's have a starting point here. I would like you to think about, let's just begin on a fresh note. I have so many things planned for you, so let's just begin with the first few things. Okay. First of all, I would like you to tell me an area of interest that you have in regards to a debatable topic. Okay. And you got to think about it in this way. What are some of the areas of, what kind of topics do you like to debate on? Okay. Think about that and give me one specific area, a broad area. Perhaps this is the way you can think about it, a broad general area of interest, which could be I think we did that for our first basis speech, but we haven't done this. So I would like you all to do something which is different. So area of interest of whether it is sports, whether it is politics, whether it is movies or entertainment. Or whether it is war, whatever is your general area of interest. Okay, I would like you to think about it, and then once you think about it, narrow it down to a general topic. Okay. For example, I'll give you an example here. For me, my area of interest is healthcare. Okay, and that's my general area of interest. Healthcare is my area of interest. Right now, I am interested in, I'm interested in the topic of masks and, whether, okay, so this is my topic of interest that I think and I'm talking about with lots of people. I do talk about that, whether mask mandate needs to be lifted in the state of Illinois. I kind of narrow it down to the state of Illinois. And then if I think about a specific debatable, I've got to take a side, right? So then if I have a specific topic or a specific, a specific claim, I would call that specific topic, or perhaps a specific claim, I will say that mask mandate should not be lifted. Mask mandate should not be lifted in the state in Illinois till the end of the pandemic. We don't of the pandemic. All right. So I want you to have a similar one. Okay. So you can see clearly that I have taken a position. When I'm taking a position, you can come back at me and say that you disagree with me. You feel that no mask mandate should be lifted now. It's high time. So I've taken a position here. So I want you to come up and tell me, give me an area of interest, a general topic, and specific. You can change that. Take about 5 to 7 minutes. Write it down, and I'm going to show you some sites where you can actually explore more through your library. Okay. All of you should have something on the table for us to discuss. Not Central Library. Here we go, databases. Few good databases where you can get good topics. I have a few in mind. Oh wow, they don't have that. CQ? That's a bummer. Okay, let's see if they have issues and controversy. They don't have that. Wow. The newspaper source. This is going to be. Okay, there's something on gun law, gun regulation and legislation in America. I think that's just going to be about gun laws. It's going to be very restricted. But I was actually looking forward to showing you something on just we can go to New York newspaper source as well. I think this one will be this one should be able to give us some information. But there are some sites, some databases which are pretty good. I don't know, either I'm not looking, I think I'm looking at the right place, because it's called Issues and Controversies. That's a database where you get a lot of debatable topics there, and they have pros and cons. So that's a very good one. Then there's CQ. Both are not here in this data in your library here, which I'm a little upset about. Okay, but I'm sure they have a few things that I may not know. WorldCat, they don't have too many actually. So let's see. Okay, ProQuest, you can look at ProQuest newspaper. That is not, it's ProQuest newspaper. If you would like to talk about debatable topics on education, primary search is a good one. ProQuest newspaper, newspaper source, these are all good sources. You can look into that and then just do research, gun regulation and legislation. If you're doing gun laws, that's a good source for you to look at. So these ERIC database, those of you who are into education, you can look into that. So these are some database that you can actually use to get sources. Okay, but then you don't have to. You're not restricted to the library. You can just go to internet research, and you will know that there are some sites that you should be looking at. There's some sites that you can't trust, right? So if it's something like a .edu, .org, we know that those are most of the time very trusted, because they're accountable, it's been managed by someone, and it's been updated, so it's kind of more. So if you want to look at internet research, that's fine. But I would like you to think about, one topic, or one general area of interest, then your general topic, and then your field. I would like to find out about that. Okay. So if you want to look at topics here, just do it, controversial. I actually have a few for you. If you are interested, I can share that with you here. 1 second. Again, you don't have to pick the topics that I have given you, but I think it's a good starting point if you're thinking about it. Give me a second. All right. Yeah, so I think, did mention to you all, so I'll give you all some topics here. And in our last class, you did zero in on one topic. Remember, I told you all to give me 3 topics, and we talked about, we did talk about, how do you understand Maslow's, what kind, look at the topic and associate it with one, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you picked 3 topics, and you associated with the, need, safety need, or self-actualization, or physiological need, and then you gave me your pick. So if you remember that, what your pick is, you can give me that. If you want to choose something else, that's also fine. So this is, I can give you a list of topics that I have generated. But again, you don't have to choose these topics if you're not interested, but I have these topics for you. So I need to know what you want to do, because then the next few steps happens after this. So here we go. I can just put it here for you. And then if you want me to send it to all of you, I could send this to you. But these are some of the topics. I can actually put it on your board as well there, and you can look at it and tell me. Can put it here. All right, I am posting this, so you can take a pic and look for some topics. I've already put it on Blackboard. You can tell me. it's okay if we change the topic. I would like you to just understand how, because the topic that you will give me, we'll work on that one, and then once you understand the process, and then you can apply it later on.
Yes. So you created the final reflection paper assignment. Do you want that due the 5th or the 10th?
1 second. Let me just take it out. That's not for you guys. Oh gosh. I was looking for this one. Where did
I think it's in home assignments.
home assignments? I
Yeah.
think that's not for you guys. See, this is, oh goodness. I have posted it here now. And I was looking for it. I'm like, where did I post it? Not for you guys. I'm like, and I had to redo the whole thing. Oh my God. I posted it in your place. Okay. No, nothing. You guys don't need to do anything of this. Now, how do I'll just take it out.
So our final reflection is.
You do have a final reflection, but not this.
Yeah.
You just have to do not this.
Could we get the rubric somewhat?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Okay, I'll do it again. Just thinking, where did I put everything? Okay, let me just hide it and then make unavailable because I need it for my class. All right. You should not be able to see any of this. And this. That's it. Are we good to go? Are we ready to talk about our topic? Yeah, okay, all right. Let's hear, Jacob, what topic have you chosen? You can change it later.
I said that the prison system needs to be reformed.
That's the one that you chose. So you're sticking to it. Okay, all right. Julia?
I said that the death penalty should be
Death penalty. All right, Molly?
no child left behind should be repealed.
Oh, no child left behind. All right, all right.
I was gonna do the one that's if children should love, or parents should let their children play final video games.
Should.
If they should,
If they should. So what's your position?
I think they should.
They should? Okay, all right. Joe?
I chose guns should not be allowed to carry in public.
Gun shooting should not be allowed. Okay, all right. Max?
The problem with social media is
Okay, all right.
I did the word don't say gay though.
I'm sorry?
The don't say gay.
No, don't do it again. Okay, all right.
I had social media as
So has social media improved
I did should sports teams be able to recruit young athletes without a college degree?
should college be free at the undergrad level?
Should your college be free as undergraduate? And you say yes, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Is music therapy effective?
It's music. So that's what we're going with. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Some of you are doing the topics that you discussed with me in Nell's class, and some of you are doing different topics. Okay. So if you want to change it, that's fine. But let's see how we can now create a debate, debatable. How do we organize our points in a way that it becomes A debate. Okay. For that, I will now talk to you. I have this slide for you. And before I need to put it in here so that all of you have it. It's a PowerPoint and it is, here we go, assign file, and just load it here right now. Argumentation and debate. Okay. So you can't miss this. It's right here. Argumentation. Here we go. All right. Okay, so this is all there. So I'm just taking it out of your course if you go to PowerPoint, this one is the last one, and this is the one that you need to use to understand and frame your argumentative speech. Okay, so everything is here. So now I'm going into this one, and we will start discussing. At about 8:30 right now. Okay, it's not bad. All right. So here, class. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this, chat a little bit about it. So this is, as I mentioned in class, you guys have we've talked about several theories, and as I mentioned to you that it was important for you to understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It was important for you to understand Monroe's motivated sequence, which we did in class. And the reason is that when you're talking debate, it has to be built on persuasion. All right. If you don't know how to persuade an audience, you'll not be able to do debate. So for that, you need to understand how persuasion works. And we did that. And we understood the importance of what needs are, the different kinds of needs. Looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We critiqued the needs. Some of them, we talked about which one should be the most important need. This is the physiological need, the actualization need. And then we looked at Monroe's motivated sequence, which was a 5-step process. We had the attention step, the need step, or the problem step, the satisfaction, visualization, and the action step. Right? We did all of that. So that was like, if you think about it, that's the ground that we stand on. We need to have that base to understand this one. This part of the class is perhaps the most challenging part. At least that's how I think about it. Okay. Because it requires you to now formulate a lot of concepts that you have learned through the class and quickly get it into action and then deliver it into speech. Okay, so I am going to talk about Stephen Toulmin's model of argumentation. And typically, debate, when you're debating, there are several, there are different ways to debate, and there are different schools of debate. There's parliamentary form of debate. There's Lincoln Douglas. There's different kinds of debate, and the one that we'll be doing, I would probably call it, a very, I would probably, we're not going to do it in a traditional debate format. The reason is that we don't have the time. Okay, we don't have the time to do that. That will require time. It will require us to have at least 4 students who are going to be doing. You'll be the opposing. That's how it goes. You have the ruling party, the opposing party, and then you go back and forth. At least we need to have about 20-25 minutes for each session. And do that. But we will for our class, we will try to get a taste of debate as much as we can. And we will go through the way I've designed it is I want you to have a strong argument and also have a counter argument. You need to know, that this is my argument. How do people counter argue with me? So you need to know that very well. And then I would like the audience, once they hear this, to come up with their counter arguments after they hear this, and then you have to go back and forth. Okay, so that's the best way that we can achieve. We can understand how debating is done, and we should be able to do that within the time frame that we have. Okay, so now talking about this, there are several things that we have to understand. Here, the argumentation and debate model is built out of Stephen Toulmin, who's a British philosopher. His model, and so just to kind of give you a background, Stephen Toulmin, just like Dr. Alan Monroe. Remember when I gave you a little bit of a backstory regarding Monroe's motivated sequences? I told you that he would love to visit car sales rooms, right? And he would be really impressed by the way car sales people, they talk and they they do sales. And then he heard several conversations and he figured out that there's some pattern in this conversation, and he created a model out of it. Stephen Toulmin wasn't any different. The only difference here is that he would actually go through courtroom proceedings. He would watch thousands of courtroom proceedings, and he would observe how lawyers talk. And he found that pretty helpful. He said, you know what, the lawyers, when they talk, there is a sequence of steps that they follow, and it's very persuasive, and it's persuasive, and there is a way that you can actually figure out some of the loopholes in a weak argument, and you can go back and forth. So let's use this model. So he went to several of these courtroom proceedings, and he just observed. He kept hearing how lawyers talk, and he said that they're successful. And of course he zoomed in on some successful courtroom proceedings and successful arguments, and he said there's a pattern that I can see. Okay, and he created a model out of that, and what we call is Toulmin's model of argumentation. Because he has bragging rights, he created that model for all of us, and it's used in argumentation and advocacy, I think, pretty much all over the world. And it's one of the really if you take a debating class, with the argumentation and advocacy, this is one of the foundation theories that people instructors will probably expose you. All right. Having said that, I'm going to show you this picture, and if the picture also helps, this is Stephen Toulmin. Okay, and I'll just turn up the light a little bit. All right. So that's Stephen Toulmin, and this is what he has said. Okay. All right. So this is slightly, and I'm going to go with the steps, kind of. I'll take it slowly. Okay. So this is a 6-step process. Okay. So this is what he says, that an argument will have data, it will have claim, all right, it will have warrant, it will have backing, it will have modifier, it will have rebuttal, modifier and rebuttal. Okay. So I'm going to explain this to you. Okay. So data is, and I will have an example, concrete example. Right now, what I'm doing is giving you the theoretical concept of it, but we have something for us to kind of use as an example, absolutely. So here we go. So the data is it's what you have, the raw material that you have. Okay, that's what we call is the data. Anything that you watch, let's say you watch a thriller, something about a serial thriller, and you're watching this whole thriller, the whole thing, the whole documentary or the whole show that you watch is the data, the raw data, or facts, or what do you have to go on with. Okay. So once you watch the whole thriller, you kind of then start thinking about who could be the killer, right? You think about, okay, this is going on, they left footprints here, there's proof here, and then you can kind of come to a conclusion based on the data, based on your observation, is that this could be he or she could be the killer, and you come to a claim. This argumentation is no different. Okay, so when you have data, you kind of read the data and you come to an analysis or conclusion. Interestingly, this is what we call is a claim in an argument. So even though the claim actually happens after you read the whole data and then you come to a conclusion, and it happens after you kind of hear the whole thing and then you come to a conclusion. This is the end step process. However, when you begin an argument, you begin with the claim first. Okay, which is perhaps the last step in the process, but you begin with the claim. So that's how when you're beginning your argument, you will come with your claim. My claim is this one. My claim is the last one, that that there's a complete clear claim that I feel mask mandate should not be listed in the state of Illinois till the end of the pandemic. How did I make this claim? Well, I have my data. I know that the pandemic is still not over. There's a new virus right now. It's a strain of omnivirus. It could be dangerous for us, and we are still not over the pandemic. So we should be wearing a mask in public places. That's my claim based on my research, my data. So that's something that we got. So when I begin my argument, this is how I'm going to begin. I'm going to first begin with the last part. Of course, the last part, I took a lot of time to come to the last part. I had my data, I had my research, I did all of that work, and then I came to this stage. Okay, so that's what we call is the claim. All right, so that's the conclusion of the argument or the statement the speaker wishes the audience to believe. This is my claim for you. Okay, now the next step is warrant. What's warrant? Okay, warrant would mean the reasoning. Okay, there must be something that if you think about the whole data that I have, all the information about mass, public health, virus, how many people are still getting sick. I have all of that data, right? And I have the claim that people should still be wearing masks. Okay. So now I am making based from my data into the claim, there is something that's going on in my mind, some kind of reasoning. There's a jump from the data to the claim, and the whole jump is called the warrant or the process of reasoning. I am able to make a link between the data and the claim through warrant. That's the reasoning. I'm using my reasoning skills. I'm using my logical skills. I'm using my common sense skills. I'm using my cause and effect skills, problem solution skills to kind of, this is all examples of warrant, which is reasoning, to make a jump from the data to the claim. Okay, so that needs to be there in the argument. All right, the third one is backing. All right, backing. What does backing do? Now, backing. What backing does is it supports your warrant. It supports it. Warrant doesn't want to stand by itself. Okay, backing will say that, you know what, I think your reasoning is correct. I think you really need to make a cause and effect solution, cause and effect reasoning here, because that's going to be the most effective in when you're trying to decide whether the pandemic is at its end or it's again a new pandemic is going to begin. Or backing is going to say that, you know what, yes, you're right, you're absolutely right in using statistics. You need to see how many people are right now are hospitalized because of COVID. Statistics is the right thing to do. Okay, so backing always will provide support to my warrant. They will keep on be the cheerleader for warrant. Say that, yes, you're using statistics, good. Yes, you're using problem solution, great. Why don't you use some history about the state of Illinois and how it deals with pandemics? So that's what backing does. It constantly provides support to my reasoning warrant. The third, no, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. The fifth one is what we call is modifier. Modifier happens, it has to be there in an argument. Modifier is actually, it's one of the most simple, I think most people try, I think most people get confused between warrant and backing with this one, and it's a pretty simple concept. Modifier basically shows the strength of the argument. Okay. Let's say I tell you, and how do I show the strength of the argument? Let's say that I say that should not. Okay, that kind of shows that absolutely, without any exception, there should not be any mask mandate should not be lifted in any part of every place should have a mask mandate. So I'm kind of making it like complete with certainty that there is no exception to the rule. I might not have that kind of confidence in my claim, and I might say that, you know what, mask mandate should be lifted selectively in certain areas. Okay, so that my modifier is kind of not that certain. That could be, and that's okay. That's fine. It shows the strength of my argument. All right. So modifier will always show the strength of the argument. So either I say should not be, or I said with more certainty it should not be in certain areas. It will always show how strong I am in my claim. And finally, we have the rebuttal. Okay. So you might be thinking, okay, now rebuttal is when I make this claim class that mask mandate should not be lifted in the state of Illinois till the end of the pandemic, I should know that there can be some exceptions to my claim. Okay. So it's like in other words, got to be the devil's advocate. Okay. You got to argue against yourself here, rebuttal. Okay, and you might think that, why would I do that to myself? Why would I kick myself in the feet and say that, okay, this is not going to be true my claim is not going to be true in certain respects. It's important for you to do that. But because what happens through rebuttal, you kind of spell out or tell us some of the exceptions to your claim. Okay, saying that in these situations, my claim may not be true. What it does for the other person is that when somebody is hearing your argument, they know that you have actually really well considered your argument. You know that your argument has some exceptions. This may not be, and I can say that I definitely don't have a rebuttal here, but I can say that mass mandate may, unless there are extenuating circumstances where a person might feel suffocated or might go through extensive problems if they wear masks. That's a rebuttal when there's an exception to the rule. Okay, so all of these 6 factors makes an argument. So you're going to have an argument where you're going to have the data. You're going to tell me what your claim is. I want to see your warrant. I want to see your backing. I want to see modifier, and I want to see a rebuttal. Okay. So and I'm going to give you now an example. And the example that I have for you, I just talked about this. Right now, it just seems a lot of words, right? So many words, too many concepts right now. But I'm going to give you a concrete example, and I'll tell you what. And I want you all to kind of work with me there and tell me, how do you think data is there? How do you see claim there? How do you see warrant, backing, modifier, and rebuttal? So I have a speech from Obama's. Right when, remember, few years back when during the Obama government, they were planning to go make a strike in Syria, right? And he wanted to strike Syria, and it didn't go through Congress. Ultimately, it didn't work out. But he had planned to do a Syrian attack because of certain things that I don't want to talk about too much, because then I'm giving you a big answer. So there were certain things that was going on, and he felt that US needs to attack Syria. And that is a great example of Coleman's model of argumentation. It's a very small clip. It's just about a 3-minute speech. Okay. And I want you all to hear that there is everything that you can get. There's data there, there's claim, warrant, reasoning, rebuttal, modifier, everything is there. So I want you all to hear it, and then after you hear it, you tell me, we're going to discuss it together. Tell me, what's the data, claim, warrant, back, modifier, rebuttal. Okay. And I'm going to play it 2 or 3 times because it requires that amount of hearing it. So the first I'm going to play it right now. YouTube. Okay, Toolman's. This is it. And the volume is completely. Actually, oh gosh, I just wanted to play it loudly with. Can you all hear, class? Isn't it too low? Can you all hear? No, right? How do I, why isn't this happening then? Can you all hear, class? Can you all hear? No, right? Okay, you know what, class? I'm sending you all the link. Does everybody have a device? I'll tell you to cue it exactly to 13 minutes, 35 seconds. Watch it. And I'm doing it, showing it, sharing it with you because I cannot hear. I don't know what's going on with the volume here. I cranked it up, but it's not. Okay, you know what, Charles? I'm sending you the link that you have device. I'm telling you it exactly 30 minutes, 35 seconds. Watch it. And I'm doing it, sharing it with you. Because I cannot hear, I don't know what's going on with the body. All right, so I did send it to all of you. Please click the link here and queue it to, I know you need to queue it to exactly 13 minutes, 35 seconds, okay? And once you are all ready, if everybody got the link, queue it to 13 minutes, 35 seconds and play. Everybody got it? Okay. I want you all to hear this. No, 30 minutes. Give it. Not see 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Okay, put it here. Take it here. Here. Go there. Yeah. Go back a little and then start. Yeah. Good.
What kind of sense we can make of this.
Okay, I would like you to, I think you've finished his hearing that clip. I would like you to hear it a second time. Go to 3 minutes, 13 minutes, 13 minutes, 15 seconds and start it again. And here is the.
let's see what kind of steps we.
All right. Class, I hopefully you watched it 2 times, maybe 3 times. I don't know how many times you watched it. So let's go back to an analysis. Okay. So here we go. I will go back to our PowerPoint slide and I will try to discuss this with you. So tell me what was going on? What is the whole data? What was going on in that speech? One second, let me just. So here we go. I will go back to my PowerPoint slide and I will try to discuss what do you think was going on, class? Did somebody tell me? You try, yeah, Max, right?
He was addressing war crime in Syria.
Okay, all right. So yes, it is about the war crime that's going on. Yes, absolutely, in Syria. All right, that's the data. What else has been discussed? Julia, could you tell us?
Well, they were talking about like the use of
Chemical weapons.
chemical weapons and whether that's like a threat. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were talking about the use of chemical weapons. And it was about the Assad regime in Syria who's using chemical weapons and the fact that this should not be done. Okay, and what do you think his whole claim was? You heard the whole speech. What do you think? You think about crystallizing into one sentence, okay, that he's trying to do through his speech. What do you think that claim would be? What is Obama claim? Yes.
Even though Syria isn't a direct threat to our security, it could be one in the future.
It could become one in the future. And so what should we do? What did he say?
Well, he calls it a strategic strike.
Right.
but-
Okay, so it should be that we should go, US should have a strategic strike on Syria. And that's what he claims. Okay. We got the first part. Everybody agreed with this one? That Obama feels that US should strike Syria? That's the claim that all of you got. Everybody agrees there? Anybody who has a different opinion or maybe has a different claim? No? Okay, all right. So moving on, we got the hardest part right actually, which was the claim. You got that right. So now next every other step is going to be easy. Now what happened here? Oh goodness. Okay. All right. Why? Okay. So now I'm going to ask you this. Okay. So all of you just did that. Okay. You did the hardest work. You heard the whole speech, the whole data. Based on the whole 3-minute speech, you guys gave me the claim. Okay. Now there must have been something magical that you did that led you from the data to the claim. Okay. What was the reasoning? What was the warrant? What led you to think that this is why Obama is claiming this? What was the reasoning behind it? What was it? Why did we jump to this claim based on the data? The data is all of this is happening. Assad regime is going out of control. They're creating chemical warfare and they're killing women and children. They are threatening our allies, US allies. That's all of the data. And Obama's, in other words, Obama is claiming through his whole speech that US needs to strike Syria. Why are we jumping from this data to this claim? What is the reasoning? What's the reasoning behind it? Yeah, right. Fear. Fear, yes, that's the reasoning that it's based out of fear. And when we guess that.
He's talking about dangerous allies.
Dangerous to the allies, yes, it's a threat that our allies are getting threatened. So we have to protect our allies. That's one reasoning. It is based out of fear. And if we crystallize this further, what is this fear? Because if we don't strike them, they will get out of control, and this is going to be a national threat. We will be threatened, they will strike us. So we need to be preemptive and strike them. Okay, so that's the reason. That's the reasoning that's going on. Okay, it's fear-based. It's basically when he says that it is a threat to national security. That's the warrant that's going on. And actually we kind of made this jump. This was happening in our minds. So this is, I told you, it's very challenging. You've got to really not, be patient and go through it, because you will get it. Okay. So this is what's happening when you hear the data and the claim. You are making a jump through the process of this, the whole game. This curve is called warrant, and you are making a jump because of the reasoning logical process that's going on in your mind. And what was the warrant here? It's a threat to national security. Biggest one, it's fear-based. 2, our allies are, our allies are threatened. We need to protect them. We need to protect our soldiers. Our soldiers, if we get into a war, our soldiers will have to go. We need to protect them. We will. US will, if we don't strike them, they'll strike us. Okay, so it's fear-based. Okay, so that's the warrant. Now the support for the warrant. Okay, so now think about it in another way. Okay, so these are the reasons that you gave me. Okay, how do you think these reasons are? What's the backing? How do we back up these reasons? The reasons that you told me: national threat, security issue, allies, we need to protect our allies. Our soldiers are going to get killed. All of these reasoning that is going on in our mind, how is it supported? How is this reasoning supported by backing? So backing, you have to think about this. It goes into even more depth. It goes into past history. It goes into societal norms. It goes into how US was treated in the past. It actually goes into that, because that's how, when we are reasoning, we are actually reasoning not only based on our logic, our sense of logic. All of that gets activated based on our previous and prior experience, prior history, our narratives that we have grown up with. All of that, it's that deep founded. If you think about the backing, and I actually went really into this, is the similar wars that have happened. The whole thing, if you think about Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction, right? The whole 9/11 thing that happened. If you think about similar wars that have happened, if US did know that 9/11 could happen, and if they tried to control it, perhaps 9/11 would have happened. Perhaps this was Obama's strategy to avoid another 9/11. Okay, because we see that if we don't act preemptively, this is what happens in our country. Okay, so in that way, the warrant is backing is completely supporting. It's supporting warrant, saying that yes, that's the right thing. You've got to be fearful, because you know what? If you're not preemptively doing this, another 9/11 might happen. If you're not doing this, then the people in our country will come back at you and say, why did our soldiers get hurt? Why you guys, why did we have to go through this? So that's the support for the warrant. It's always based on prior experience, past history, common beliefs, past narratives will always support our reason. So that's what backing does. Okay, modifier. So I'm not getting the. I'll talk about that. It's going to be, you've got to really look at the script and see, because there is a modifier there. But what was the rebuttal? Let's go to that one. What was the rebuttal? What was the exception that Obama said that we may not go to the exception to the rule? We may not go through a surgical or through a Syrian attack if so and so, if such and such happens. What was the exception to the rule? He did say that very clearly, and that was in the last part of the speech. Do you remember? Okay, so he does talk about Congress. He says that if I will go ahead, I would like to go ahead, but I don't operate by myself. I'm not a dictator. I don't operate by myself. If the Congress doesn't back me up, then we will not be able to go, because what Congress is supported by the people. I will have to listen to the people, and if people don't want to go to war, I'm not a dictator. I will act according to my Congress, and then I will not go. So that is an exception to the rule. Okay, that we will not go have and actually which didn't happen, right? You know that didn't happen because it didn't go through Congress. So that was an exception to the rule. So that's how the whole argument happened. Within a 3-minute speech, as we saw, there was data, claim, modifier. Modifier is when he said, we probably, these are words that shows the strength of the argument. And that was there also. I can't really remember it, but there was a modifier there. So all of these 6 elements was present in Obama's speech. Now what you got to do, class, the task for you is now you got to create your Coleman's model of argumentation based on the topic that you have. Okay, so you can do your research. I want to, and you don't have to tell me, you just write down the argument. You need to know what your warrant is. You need to know what your backing is. And when you're doing your speech, you come here in the front of the class and you say, this is my claim, this is my warrant, you don't have to do it that way, okay? I need to know that you have all of these elements. You have the 6 elements in your speech, okay? And that's going to be your argument. I should be able to hear and understand, okay, there is Joe's warrant, that's his backing, that's his modifier. I'll be able to figure out. So you don't have to put it there, but you need to know that you are using all these 6 arguments, 6 pieces of these arguments in your argument. So I would like you to start working on it. You know what topic you're doing. You can right now, if you're not doing, if you're not using our library as a resource, then you can just do research from the internet and create. Right now, for the purpose of this class, create a 300-word argument, okay? And then you can increase that data. Just as a starting point, start writing it. Start writing your argument. I want you to first think about, you've already done this, you know what your specific topic and claim is. Now start writing it out. I need to have all of these points: data, claim, warrant, modifier, And the best way to do it, class, is not to overthink it. I don't want you to get oh my God, how do I fit into all of this? Just think about if you have to open a debate, if you have to debate with somebody and you have your case, how do you prove it? Okay, just think about it better. Later on, we can figure out if all of these elements are there or not. Okay, but right now, just start writing. If you have to prove what you have to prove, what will you write? And then we figure it out. We put it in this format. Still have 9:35, so we have. I'll give you all about. It's 9:10, almost 9:10. You can have till 9:25. Okay, so 5, 10, 15 minutes of writing time. At any point, if you're getting stuck, please talk to me. This is all available on Blackboard, so I'm just going to minimize this and after you're done writing it, I would like you to post it in the discussion forum. Yeah. That's 10 points. Debate drafts. Okay. Please post it in the discussion forum. Discussion board, debate drafts. Post it here. 9:23 class. Okay. Yeah.
So using everything, right?
Yeah, you're going to use everything. Did you write your document? Did you finish?
No.
Okay, yeah.
So I did.
Okay.
So it's about the things we choose, right? Things we choose for me, like gunship.
Yes, yes. You have to write a 300 to 500 word.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't, yeah.
So for speech, can we just
when you're doing it in class, I would do a note class. Yeah. With feeling points. It's not going to be, your talking time will be 5 minutes, and then after that, you really don't know what kind of want to argue. So you should be prepared.
Oh, last week.
We do that. We like to do a dry run next class. And then I'll tell you about the final course. It's about 9:30 class. So if you can submit it at the end of the class. That's okay. All right. And this is what I just wanted to talk to you for the last 5 minutes. Just submit it whatever you could do. Don't worry about it not being finished or anything. Just submit. I wanted you all to start thinking about it and start writing your argument. And then in our next class on the 14th, I'll have all your drafts in, and then we figure out how can we refine that further, how can we put it in the Coleman form. I would ask you to, maybe based on what I read, I said your claim needs to be more refined, it needs to be more tightened. This is your borrowing, this is your backing. You're going to work on that. So it's wonderful that you've got a good jump start today. You started the work, which is the most important thing. You started it, and I could see all your. So what you need to do, class, just submit it. Whatever you could finish, that's not a big deal as long as you did it. You wrote it in class. Just submit that for points today for in-class assignment. And for when we meet on Tuesday, I would like you to use what you did in class and kind of finish it. If you haven't finished it, just finish the whole thing. It should be about 300 to 500 words. And also provide, at this point, probably did not get a chance now. Once you go back, and then you will get your 3 sources, put it together. Okay, all the sources that you want to use, I would like you all to use 3 sources, put it together. Put the debate draft here by Thursday, when we are meeting on Thursday. So by 7 o'clock, it should be in on Thursday. All right, so that we have everything, and I can look into it. Yes.
I just turned that in.
This one, yeah. So okay. Here we go. So this is the one that we did right now in class. Is the in-class assignment, and I'm sorry, it needs to be done on discussion board, and I can see you need to submit it here. I can already see Molly, Chase, Brighton, and Annalise all you've already submitted, which is okay, wonderful. Just if you haven't done it, just you have till the rest of the day to submit it. And then remember, you just need to work. You've already started working on this. You need to work further, create a 300 to 500 word speech, and tell me the 3 sources that you're going to use, and do that as a home assignment, debate draft. This needs to be turned in by Thursday morning. Okay, so that I have that, and then we are all going to again do it together. So I'm going to look at it, then changes, editing, and all of that will happen. Okay, so it's not going to be there. And then we don't meet on Tuesday, because and then we straight away get into our speeches.
Thursday is on Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Okay, all right. Yeah, not Tuesday. 1 second here. Yeah, so Thursday we don't meet on Tuesday. We meet on Tuesday, but we don't meet on Thursday. So we have time. Okay, class. Thank you. I will see all of you on Thursday. Thank you.
14 is Thursday.
Yeah, let's keep it. Yeah, Thursday.
So this draft I should submit by Thursday.
Okay.